Have you ever wondered why economists seem to look at the world differently? Whether it's grocery prices, taxes, or even dating apps, economists tend to analyze everything through a unique lens. But there's a reason for that. In this video, we'll explore what it really means to think like an economist. We'll look at how economists use models to understand complex problems, the role of assumptions, and how different schools of thought approach economic questions. By the end, you'll start to see the world a little differently, not just as it is, but as it might be improved through trade-offs, choices, and incentives. Economics is often described as the study of how society manages its scarce resources. But the way economists study those decisions isn't just about money or numbers. It's about behavior, institutions, and decision-making. To make sense of complicated situations, economists use models. These models are simplified versions of reality that help explain how things work. Just like a map helps you find your way around a city, even if it doesn't show every detail, economic models help us understand trade, markets, and behavior. One key idea in economics is the importance of assumptions. This might sound odd. Why would we deliberately simplify the real world? But think about how engineers use frictionless surfaces or physicists use objects in a vacuum. These simplifications make it easier to focus on key relationships without getting bogged down in every tiny detail. This chapter introduces two major types of models, the circular flow diagram and the production possibilities frontier, PPF. It also explains the difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics and introduces the distinction between positive and normative analysis. What is versus what ought to be. Let's unpack each of these concepts to see how they help economists understand the choices we make. 1. The circular flow diagram. This is a simple visual model of the economy that shows how dollars flow through markets among households and firms. Households own factors of production, like land, labor, and capital, and sell them to firms in exchange for income. Firms use these inputs to produce goods and services, which they sell back to households. There are two types of markets here: the market for goods and services and the market for factors of production. Money flows in one direction, while goods, services, and resources flow in the other. This model helps us see the big picture of how different parts of the economy interact, even though it leaves out things like government and international trade for simplicity. 2. The production possibilities frontier, PPF. The PPF is a concept in economics that shows the combinations of two goods an economy can produce given available resources and technology. Usually represented as a graph, any point on the curve represents an efficient allocation of resources. Points inside the curve are inefficient, resources are underused. Points outside the curve are currently unattainable. The shape of the curve reflects opportunity cost. A straight line PPF suggests constant opportunity costs, while a bowed out PPF suggests increasing opportunity costs. This model shows trade-offs. Producing more of one good means producing less of another. It also highlights economic growth. If resources or technology improve, the PPF shifts outward. 3. Microeconomics versus macroeconomics. Microeconomics focuses on individual units, like households, firms, and markets. It looks at how prices are set, how consumers make choices, and how businesses compete. Macroeconomics deals with the economy as a whole, like inflation, unemployment, and GDP. It asks big-picture questions like, how do we reduce recession? What's the role of the Federal Reserve? Both fields use similar tools, but they zoom in on different levels of the economic system. 4th, positive versus normative economics. Positive economics is objective. It describes how the world is. For example, an increase in the minimum wage causes unemployment among teen workers is a positive statement. It can be tested with data. Normative economics is subjective. It reflects opinions or values. For example, the government should raise the minimum wage is normative. It's a value judgment. Economists strive to separate the two, especially in research, but public policy debates often mix them together, which is why it's important to recognize the difference. The role of economists in society. Economists play many roles: researchers, policy advisors, and educators. Some work in government, shaping fiscal or monetary policy. Others are in the private sector, analyzing markets or advising businesses. Interestingly, economists often disagree, not just because of politics, but because of differences in values, assumptions, or interpretations of data. Disagreements can be healthy. They help test ideas and improve models over time. Let's apply the PPF to a real-world example. Imagine a country that produces only two goods: corn and fighter jets. If the country focuses all its resources on making food, it can feed its people, but it has no defense. If it focuses only on defense, it might be secure, but its citizens may go hungry. The PPF shows all the possible combinations of food and defense that the country can produce. Every point along the curve reflects a trade-off. More jets mean less corn. Now imagine a new fertilizer increases corn yields without using more land. This shifts the PPF outward, allowing more food without sacrificing defense. That's economic growth in action. Now consider opportunity cost. If moving from point A to point B on the curve means giving up 10 tons of corn to get 2 more jets, then the opportunity cost of those jets is 10 tons of corn. Policymakers have to decide, is that trade-off worth it? Or consider technology. A breakthrough in drone production might lower the cost of defense without affecting food output. That shifts one side of the PPF outward, allowing more security with the same resources. Real-world policy decisions often boil down to these kinds of trade-offs. Should we spend more on education or defense? Should we invest in healthcare or infrastructure? The PPF helps visualize those tough choices in a simple, concrete way. Thinking like an economist means recognizing that every decision involves trade-offs. It means understanding opportunity cost, efficiency, and how systems interact. Here are the key takeaways from this chapter. Models matter. Economists use diagrams like the circular flow and PPF to simplify and understand the economy. Trade-offs are everywhere. Whether it's time, money, or resources, choices always have costs. Efficiency is key. Economies work best when they allocate resources where they're most valued. Distinctions help clarify thinking, micro versus macro, positive versus normative. These divisions make it easier to understand complex issues. Economists wear many hats. They analyze, advise, teach, and influence policy, and sometimes they even disagree. As you move forward in your study of economics, remember, it's not about memorizing charts or formulas. It's about developing a way of thinking, one that helps you make better choices, both as a citizen and as an individual. Make sure to like this video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a new update. I'm here to help you succeed and get that A. Thanks for watching, and keep thinking like an economist.